Is it now full?
Okay.
It's
Sir, are
full,
you
right?
sharing the whole screen or you are just choosing this particular application, sir?
I'm choosing the application. Now it is
You
full, right?
go for that full screen, sir. Share the entire screen option.
Yeah, but right now it's showing the.
Yeah, this is correct, Guruji. This is manageable.
Yeah. Showing the bottom, right?
I mean, nothing is cut as far as I see.
Yeah, the bottom line is shown.
Yeah.
So let's. I think Kishore will lead. But before that, I just want to say, we always let's start off with both the formats. I think some of the people are so used to the North Indian format also. But I always maintain that the South Indian format is so easy. In case you have not learned it, you can make an attempt, and soon you'll be able to, relate so well to the South Indian chart. So just have a good look, and if you find something very different or a point that is noteworthy to be mentioned, you can straight away start mentioning those, and then we will. And then Kishorji will take it up from there, and then let other students also participate. It will be a very interactive session. Do we start off as a blind type reading, or what is the approach you're going to have, Kishore?
Guruji, for this chart, it is a good idea to directly go to that date and ask the question as to what transpired on that date. So for this, we might need the Vimshotri Dasha, and for those who are with Jaimini method, they can use the Chara Dasha.
Okay, so you think this page is better?
Yes, Guruji, that will be better.
What I'm showing now.
Yes, but we need D1 and
D1.
North Indian
Okay.
D1 and North Indian D1.
North Indian D1.
No, in that page itself, Guruji, where you showed me the two dashas.
Okay.
There, instead of D9, just please click on that and click on the previous one.
This
one?
Yeah,
this also has this. Yeah, this also has this. Yes. Yeah, this is correct. But did you want the North Indian chart, Guruji, to be displayed?
We'll ask the students whether they want the North Indian chart. You can always raise your hand. Right now, so far nobody has raised their hand. Yeah, so we'll continue like this. I think people are used to this. In this, we have all the divisional chart as well.
Yes, Guruji.
So can we open D9, sir, for this chart rather than D4?
Yeah, D9. Okay. Yeah, that's because D9 is always the best of divisional charts. There's so many ways D9 can help us. It's always better to have a default divisional chart as D9 only. Okay.
Yes,
right.
Guruji.
So, do you have any particular year where I
have the date, Guruji.
Okay.
24th September 2000.
2000.
And yes, Guruji.
24th September 2000. So where is it? It is here.
Yeah, it comes as Mars, Venus, Mercury.
Okay.
Level 3.
Level 3. Okay. Do we go to level 3 or stay with just Mars and Venus?
No, level 3 is also a big period, Guruji. So we can go
want to. Okay.
Pratyantar is, as you say, I think in one of your talks you mentioned Pratyantar is more bang on target. And
yeah, the only risk is time of birth has to be accurate.
Okay.
Arrays will be misled. Okay, that's the only risk. It's sensitive to time of birth. Okay, so we'll scroll down to.
Was it a loss of mother, Kishorji?
No, Manoj, it wasn't loss of mother.
Manoj, what you can do,
Hmm.
If you make a statement like that, you can also say why you think so.
Yes.
The reason being is the fourth lord is in the 12th. The Kutumba Sthana lord is also in the 12th. And it is having a very close conjunction in the 12th house.
You know why?
Thinking the same, Manoj.
Yeah,
Ji.
you know why I asked this question? Sometimes we can get some clues about the house. Maybe we actually miss when you're referring to a particular signification of the house. But when you make a statement like this, later on during the discussion, you might say, okay, I can look at fourth house like this, I can look at second house like this. Maybe then we'll start practicing, that way, how to fine tune our understanding of the chart. So at the outset, I think you're talking about second lord weakness and fourth lord weakness, right?
And
Yeah, we'll keep that in mind, and therefore, whatever you said, according to me, it's fine. Because even if it is wrong also, the answer is not wrong in a certain way. Whenever we do research, that's how we
your
start.
indication that something has happened with the mother and loss of comfort, sir.
Loss
For
of
sure.
comfort. Okay. Yeah, we'll keep that in mind.
Sir, is there any question, a specific question for this chart, sir? I missed that point.
Okay, I think
I posted in the chat, Guruji.
chat. Okay.
Okay.
So
Thank
the
you,
date is given. There is a way. Yeah, I think we can mark the event, right? Event like that. Okay. How do you do that? You go to and events. We'll call it event. Okay.
Yes.
And then we'll say date. What is the date?
Event 1 you can do, Guruji, and 24th September.
Event 1. 20?
24th September 2000.
24th September is
9.
9. And month, a year is?
2000.
2000. At least we got something, right? So we'll say add and...
Event 2, we'll do event 2 also. We'll add event 2 also because that is going to come down the line.
Okay. Update. And event 2, is it? Okay.
Yes, event 2.
Event 2.
26th September 2003.
26th September again.
Same. 2003.
3. And then we call this event 2.
Yes.
Update.
Okay.
And then say okay. I think it should be showing up, right?
It should show in the Vimsho3 sequence.
Does it show automatically or you have to do some refresh? Or did it save it at all?
No, I think in the options you'll have to say show events.
No, sir. You just have to press Control A.
Control?
A.
Control A. Okay.
And just now give again okay, sir.
Let me go and check whether it's noted in the events. See, event is blank.
No, sir, you didn't save the chart, sir. That's the problem, sir.
But then I have to enter it again, is it?
Yeah, you have to enter it. First, enter the day.
Okay. Event 1, 20th.
1 second, Guruji. 24th September 2000.
2000.
24th, Guruji.
24th
September 2000.
And then add.
Now you can again type event 2, sir.
Event 2.
Okay.
26 September 2003.
26 September 2003. And then add, is it? And then?
Add. Now click OK, sir.
Where here?
Yes. Click OK.
Here update.
Yes, give OK, sir.
Okay.
And now
and again okay.
Now OK.
Yeah, event here is that. Yeah. Eve. Oh, it's become like Adam and Eve. Okay. Mars, Venus, Mercury. And the other one is? Rahu,
Venus.
Rahu, Venus. Okay. So we got a comparatively easier case study today because Kishorji has started with an event. So we focus more on Venus, Mars, first of all, Mars Dasha.
We'll, Guruji, one small suggestion. Can we spend some time on the D1 chart
Okay.
to see the health of the D1 chart, and then we go into the date, Guruji? What do you suggest, Guruji? If there's some blemish on the D1 chart, then we go to the thing.
Yeah, that's what I said. We'll spend some time.
Okay.
Just doing something with the basic chart.
Sir, can we go on the starting dasha, sir, for this person?
You want the first dasha?
Yeah, first starting dasha.
Manoj, before that, something about the static.
Yes, sir. But just you click on the 0, it will take you, sir.
0 is it? Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so he started with Sun, Jupiter.
Sun, Jupiter. No, is that? Okay. That's the way you see, is it? Okay. So it is a -0. So that is the first one, is it? Okay.
Yeah, he started with Sun, Jupiter.
Oh. Those things work if the person has got some genetic problem, right?
Yeah, I'm just seeing, sir, how
if there is a genetic problem.
Because again, there is an 8th lord connection coming into the picture with the Lagna, with the
Okay,
with the
before
sun.
going into anything that specific, just from D1, what do you think may be the most noteworthy point?
It's an eclipse, sir.
Eclipse. Okay. Then one of you Google and find out what is the connection between eclipse.
You can get it in this itself, sir. You don't have to Google, sir. In Sri Jyoti itself, it will give you the eclipse date.
Okay, where?
You can open any blank page, sir, where you can add it.
I see. Maybe
Also
I have done it already.
He was also born on Krishna Paksha Chaturdashi.
I will get the eclipse, Guruji. In my screen, I will get it.
Okay.
Just a second.
A day before eclipse, probably, looking at the degrees.
No, I'll tell you the secret about eclipses. Okay. Now there are two things. One, date of eclipse itself, or the exact time of the eclipse, or sometimes people are born during the peak of an eclipse.
It is one day before the eclipse, Guruji.
Yeah, this is very common, right? But what is more important is there is something called born between eclipses. Okay. So that is also to be considered, because you may say, the general thing about eclipses, when an eclipse happens, its effect lasts for full peak results for the next one fortnight. I mean, strongly for the next one fortnight, but the peak halfway through, a week. Okay, the week from the date of eclipse. Now, if the birth takes place outside of this bracket, it is not that strong, except if it is on the same date. So what I'm doing, I'm on Google and I'm saying type eclipses of, what is the year of this birth? 1981.
Yes, Guruji.
1981. And then timeanddate.com says that this person is born in Feb, right? You see this. 19 to 20 January, there was a lunar eclipse. So when the solar eclipse is 4 and 5, 4/5, Feb. So it is born between eclipse. Therefore, the eclipse is strong.
So, Guruji, you mean to say between lunar and solar, the birth happened?
Exactly. But what is more important is which happened first. Because that graha, that moon is in trouble. If sun is the first one, then sun will be in trouble. Okay. So this is starting with lunar. Usually eclipses always occur in pair, sometimes more than a pair. One more time also. In rare cases, it will happen. But this is first lunar and then solar. Okay. Then you look at, for that person, what is the moon?
It's the 5th house lord, sir.
Right. So the moon's moon is afflicted more by Rahu and Ketu than the sun. That's the point I want to say. But born between eclipses, wherever the eclipse fell, here there will be a little confusion because which chart to use, Rashi or Bhava. I always prefer to use the Bhava chart only. But in case the Rashi and the Bhava chart is the same, of course, no argument. But otherwise, you can say, no, it's still in the Rashi chart in the same place. That's where the eclipse happens. But for this person, where is it happening? That's the question always. It's always like, for me, what? Okay, from my point of view, what? This person took birth in Meena Lagna. Because of that, the moon became the fifth lord. And you see that the moon is behind the sun, right? So somebody said Krishna Paksha Chadurdasi. I think that should be correct, right? Is it correct or wrong?
Yes, sir. It is within 24 degrees, sir, of sun.
No, the Tithi is having a different junction point. Be very careful. It is 12 degrees. Okay. So
Yes, 12 plus 12, 24, I'm saying. Within 24.
I'll just go through. Somewhere I had kept a page.
It is Trayodashi, Guruji.
Yeah, that's what I had a doubt. Okay, it's Trayodasi.
Yeah, I meant to say it was one day before the eclipse, Guruji.
Yeah. Okay.
Sir, how can it be Trayodashi, sir? Sun is at 20 degrees, moon is at 1 degree.
Oh, right. It is this one only. Krishna Paksha Chadurdasi. Correct. Yeah, you're right. I wish they had a center, something where the Panchang, like Jagannath Horoscope.
You actually have Panchang, but I think it is calculating based on some other chart because there it is showing different. It's you can forward the page, sir. There was one page where the Panchang was there.
In one page it showed Trayodashi, in another page it showed KPC, Guruji.
See what you do. The gap of 12 degrees contribute a Tithi. Okay, it's not 24.
One more, sir.
One more page, is it?
Right. There was one page where you had Panchang, sir.
This one?
Yeah, there's Panchang, sir, the corner. Okay, it is showing
here, this is what I saw, Trayodashi, but in the next page it showed correctly. Guruji, this is you have to choose the native, Guruji. This is showing the blue color native, which is the transit native.
No. You see, if you take 12 degrees, it is only
yeah, sir, but sir, you have to right click the chart. On Panchang, right click the Panchang, sir.
Where?
On the Panchang, the tabular column, right click it.
Choose native.
Select native for this, sir. There is one option. Down, sir. Down. Select native for this. A little bit top, sir.
In the center. Yes.
Here you have to choose HV, sir.
This became the red color title bar, which means it's the primary native.
What is all this?
Even for the others, you need to change, Guruji. For the Rashi D1 and there's multiple Varga charts, you need to change the native.
What's happening?
No, sir, this is correct for now. But the thing is, it's correct, sir.
Okay.
Just 1 second, Guruji. Can you go back there and then? As long as the title. As long as the title bars are red in color, it's not a problem. Here, Rashi D1 in the top, it says in blue color, right, Guruji?
Yeah.
There, please left click on it. Normal click. Please
normal click. See, there are. See, actually, it is showing two charts. One is the current transit, and the other one is the original native chart. So if you want to do a comparison, this chart.
Oh, that's why. Okay, that's why. Okay.
I was doing this at that time, but then since we are looking at North Indian, South Indian, that choice we have to give with the same native only.
Okay.
Not with the transit chart.
Okay. So, but anyway, it is Pradosham here. right? Where people have gone to the Shiva temple. So it is KPC, right?
It is KPC, sir, and on top of it, he is born on a Vishtikarna, sir.
I think first we have to master the software before astrology.
Sir, it is in page 9, sir. Your Panchang is in page 9.
No, that's okay. I got it. See, because a lot of us think that Tithi is like a star, length. It's actually not. It is only 12 degrees, not 13 degrees, 1320. Okay. The reason for that is the sun is also moving forward. That's the reason. So it won't tally exactly with the normal logics. So if you cross that point, it will become Amavasya. And the peak of eclipse will always happen exact Pratipat beginning. Please remember that. So exact conjunction is the peak of an eclipse that is not in Amavasya. It is at the end of Amavasya and the beginning of Pratipat, the first Tithi. So if you do that mentally, 20 minus 12 is the junction point. From there, minus another 12 will be Krishna Paksha Chaturdasi. You can do it in your mind. Okay. Any doubt there? So this person is really vulnerable, right? Because it is a KPC fault. And what is the percentage we got? I think 40% of KPC left.
Yes, sir. 49% KPC.
49 or something. If it's only how much? 84 something left is not a problem, right? Up to 84 left. That is the first 1/6, no problem. But anything else is a problem. So we'll take it as poisoned moon. And then obviously okay, now there is a difference. A KPC coinciding with eclipse. Have you thought about that?
Sir, and on top of that, born on Vishtikarna, sir.
Born on Vishtikarana. Okay.
So it's
And the
multiple
Lagna
times.
is also weak, sir, because it is fighting with because there is a planetary war of with Lagna Lord and Saturn.
That's what I was that is what I was waiting for. You see, there is always a theme, something that stands out in a horoscope. What is that? A close, tight conjunction between Lagna Lord and opposite, Saturn. Jupiter is the
opposite to Saturn.
Yeah. So for this ascendant, which is the most negative planet in terms of what we call functions?
Saturn, Guruji.
Saturn. So who will afflict Jupiter? We already have some important points stated by Maharshi, where he has spoken about the connection between Jupiter and Saturn using Mesha Lagna, right? You remember that? Okay. So please understand.
Sir,
Yes?
so in this context, we can see also what is the aspect of Mars on Jupiter on the Lagna Lord.
Yeah.
But because Jupiter is already weakened because of Saturn, fighting with Saturn.
Yeah, 1 minute. I forgot to invite some of the beginner students are also a little advanced. So they might also like it. I'll invite them. Yeah, what did he say?
Now, I want to see what is the aspect of Mars on Lagna Lord because Saturn is already weakening the Lagna Lord.
Yeah, you can mentally do it, right? Mars is fully aspecting Saturn.
Okay.
It's fully aspecting. Yeah. Now let's digest that statement we made. What is your opinion? Each one of you contribute some points. Simply because Jupiter-Saturn conjunction happens, what are the things that you can say? Don't make it too complicated. Simple ideas. You can talk in layman's term. I'll give you a clue.
So
I'll give you a clue. Lagna is my body. Okay, myself. Saturn is so much against me, like that. And
Saturn is karma.
Yeah, Saturn is karma. Okay, okay, very strong. Usually punishing karma, right? Punishing type. Saturn is always punishing. So finally, the answer will be something connected to Saturn only. That much we know. Because this is a very important idea that the static potential is the main thing in every horoscope. Something that stands out. Very strong karma. It will be waiting for a dasha, another dasha, or a transit. So whoever noted this, that it is very tight, the conjunction is tight, that that particular period, that 81, this has affected a lot of people. I had very negative consultations for several people, for hundreds of people born around this time. So I'm almost like, I've seen it so many times. This Jupiter Saturn in this corner. Anybody wants to say why this corner is something special?
It is the seventh house for this native, sir. Marakasthana.
Before that, anything else?
It's the sixth house of
It
the
happens.
Kalapurusha, Guruji.
It's 6th house in Kalapurusha. Got it.
Yes, Guruji.
Even what Sridevi said also, we are taking it, right? We're considering the point. It happens in the 7th house, all that. But before that, before anything particular to the native, something very general.
This conjunction happens only once in 20 years, sir.
Okay, that's also a point, right? Conjunctions happen only once in 20 years. People say once in 30 years. It's wrong because Jupiter also catches up, right? Jupiter is also moving. So the Jupiter-Saturn connection happens once in 20 years. But I'm just waiting for one particular point about this corner,
Both corner. Okay.
this Kanya. Wait, I have to check the. Somebody is asking, Girish is asking location bond. Definitely we can give the location. Because this is not our client. So this is the details. It is in France. But I've hidden the name. Okay. 10:32 a.m. or hours. Girish, are you done with this? Okay, done. So we go back.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So we go back. So something about Jupiter and Saturn made it possible. Then too many things. KPC can happen once in every month, but eclipse doesn't happen. Eclipse happens only once in. Honey, put here. 1 second. Just 1 minute. You please continue.
Both Jupiter and Saturn are located in Moon's nakshatra.
Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes, Guruji.
Yes.
Yeah. Where he says anyone saying something I missed out? Nothing, right? Okay.
Guruji, can we say Jupiter and Saturn are both aspecting each other's rashis from Kanya?
Huh?
Jupiter and Saturn are aspecting each other's rashis from Kanya.
Each other's Rashi from Kanya. What is that? My Saturn is aspecting which?
Saturn is not aspecting its Rashis, right?
No, each other's rashis. So Saturn is aspecting Pisces and Jupiter is aspecting Capricorn from 5th aspect.
So this is from Lord Shiva temple, Kapaleswaran temple. Okay. This is all Vilva. So if people are born in KPC, the main god will always be Lord Shiva.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And there is a parivartana between 12th house and 7th house.
Okay.
By being in the 7th house, they have become Marakas.
Yeah.
I think Sri Durga added a point. Saturn and Jupiter both are retrograde.
Yeah, both are retro and they're very strong. Yeah.
Retro, we don't use it like how generally astrologers use it. We only say stronger karma. Okay, retrograde means stronger karma. Whatever they say, of that it will be strong. Okay, so that is our approach to retrograde planets. Not saying it's bad because of that, but there is something. So what you have to do with this is you got to start visualizing what's happening in the sky. Okay, Jupiter is going backwards, Saturn is going backwards. With respect to each other, who is going towards whom?
Saturn is going towards Jupiter, sir.
How many say Saturn is going towards Jupiter?
No, sir, other way around. Jupiter
The other way
is
around.
going.
Okay, yeah.
Reverse. Yes, sir. Yes.
It's the other way around. Yeah.
And there is parivartana between 12th house and 7th house, sir.
Yes, I was also waiting for that. All that fine. But are we saying in what way the person is going to be affected? Is it marriage?
Marriage, Guruji.
Is it health? Is it what else can we say about some of those business partnership?
Guruji, when we talk about parivartana, do we say parivartana between houses or between the grahas, Guruji?
Normally, parivartana is between rashis. It's normally mentioned as rashi parivartana. But there could be another situation called bhava parivartana. That's somewhat rarer. Normally, when you say parivartana, we are only talking about Saturn occupying Mercury's house, Mercury occupying Saturn's house. Surely it is not connected to a house number, right? We are only talking about Rashi.
Yes, that's why I was confused, Guruji.
Yeah. So when you say Mercury is in Saturn zone, Saturn is in Mercury zone, that's all. That is only parivartana. Now, what is that parivartana? It is between a 12th house parivartana. What is 12th house? Is it a good house? 12th?
Loss, Guruji.
Loss. Maybe expenses due to wife. Okay. We'll keep that in mind. Expenses due to wife. See, here I want to tell you one thing. There's no need for us to be afraid of making statements because when you try, only you improve. Okay. Like Sri Devi boldly said, expenses due to wife. Okay. Why not? It could have happened to someone else, right? Okay. I remember same lagna, same person. What Sri Devi said has happened to that person. I know that. So there'll be fine changes based on something else. There's so much poison in this case because there is an eclipse. Eclipse means poison. Okay. Then we have a KPC fault over it, and they're all on 511. 511. You want to say anything about 511? Some Putra dosha? Some fifth house dosha?
Sir, is it a woman or man, as a female or male? Sir?
It's a man, right, Kishorji?
Yes, Guruji.
It's man. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
So my guess is it's not a guess, Guruji and Kishore ji. So the second lord is the Mars, and which is a Maranakasthana, and the Mars is running during the time of September that Kishore ji mentioned. Probably something like an accident because the Mars is in the 12th house. Major accident might have happened, and probably got recovered from that too.
But why do you say recovered?
That combination.
Are you okay? If you want to say, okay, let anything happen, but Jupiter is looking at his own house, and that is Lagna. Maybe he survives, something like that. You want to say it is perfectly all right to say Lagna Lord is sitting bang opposite and looking back at the Lagna. Whenever the any house is, especially seventh house, directly aspected, yes. Okay, but we learned from Mark Boni that his observation, or I don't know whether that was taken from K.N. Rauji, but he says if retrograde Jupiter does not protect the person becomes vulnerable. Remember, Kishore, we attended that class.
Yes, Guruji.
Yeah, so we'll have to keep that in mind, because sometimes when something is not mentioned and it is not a contradiction, new ideas can come up because of research. Only thing is, a research should not contradict something that was already mentioned by the rishis. The rishis never said anything about this, so maybe we lost the text. Anything can happen, but we'll keep that in mind. We'll also always consider, what if it is a Jupiter that is retrograde? It is not protecting the person. Maybe the person is still susceptible to injury or something. So how many of you feel it could be personal, marriage, children, or health, or which side should we take?
Sir, I can try to make a statement.
Yes.
The Lagna Lord sitting in 7th along with the 12th house Lord, and that too Saturn. It's a Bandhan Karak Graha. So he must have had a lot of challenges in movement. So he must be attached to a place, or not able to move freely.
You mean he was in jail?
Either in jail, or because of an accident, because of something, he got injured and not able to move freely. Either of these two.
And what was the logic you used?
Lagna Lord, and along with 12th house Lord, and that being Saturn.
Okay, Saturn is the imprisonment, or the one which physically handicaps us, like imprisonment, right? Like a handcuff.
Yeah.
Helplessness. Okay.
Handcuffs, yes.
Okay. In between, Kiran D. Pawar warns us that Mars is not in the 12th. In the Bhava chart, it has moved to 11th. But we never used anything with Mars, right? Okay. Vel Murugan, Mars affected by the Sun. But there's a gap, right?
Astanga Dosa.
Astanga Dosha. Astanga, Vel Murugan ji, it is, there is some gap, right? Maybe yes, maybe yeah, 10, 13 degrees. Typically, according to Surya Siddhanta, it is Mars up to 17 degrees is to be considered as, if you go strictly, combustion. But it's not tight. It's not so close. Kishore, you want to say something? You want to start giving clues so that we can kind of make some semi-conclusions?
Okay, so from, till this point, we were only doing the static analysis of the chart, right?
Okay.
And there was some analysis about impending problems with the placement of the grahas.
Okay.
Then, now that they are having an inkling about some of the bad placements and what are the pitfalls the native could have, then by going to that dasha period and then by referring to BPHS volume 2, then we can make a statement about it, Guruji. Because
Sir,
what is mentioned in BPHS seems to tally with, to a certain extent, it seems to tally, and that is usually the case. So
I can start off by saying, 1 minute, Sridevi. I can start off by saying the event happened in Mars, Venus, right?
Yes, Guruji. So
simply by saying from Mars, the Bhuktinath is in 12th from Mars.
That is
Pakka,
the statement. That is the catch statement.
yeah, Pakka 12th, right? It's gone.
Yes, Guruji.
But we know Venus is a bad graha, 8th house graha. So events could have happened suddenly. And third
Yes.
house, Ayush, testing life, 3 and 8 together. See, I'll also tell you here, there's a very nice approach. What is the astrologer's name? Joe, some Patry. Can somebody help me with the name?
Juni Patry?
Yeah. That person. That astrologer said, if you know the two lordship of a planet, you can start connecting them. Why is this? 3rd and 8th. So depending upon the two house combinations, you can get a lot of clues. What is special about 3 and 8? One word that unites 3 and 8.
Longevity, sir.
Exactly. Ayush under question, right? And that is behind the Dashanath. Okay. Now I think it's time that we also look into. Did anybody else want to say? I interrupted in between. I remember something. They can take.
I want to say the same point, sir. That Venus is 12 places away from Lagna.
Okay.
Now what?
Yeah. Good. Now we say, what are the which of the grahas are influencing Venus? Who is
the 5th Lord Moon, sir? Is in conjunction with the only conjunction.
No. Let's use the table. Okay. At least maybe one of you could have kept the Jagannath Hora also ready. That could have helped us. So here, who is looking at Venus? Jupiter?
Rahu Ketu axis, sir. It is in it is on Rahu Ketu axis.
Rahu Ketu axis. But the angles will be different, right? It is not 100%.
60%.
60 out of 100.
Yes,
and then Jupiter is also looking. What about Mars? Rahu is looking 85%. Okay, we'll remember that. And Venus is looking at what are the houses?
5th house.
5th is the maximum, right?
It is not at center, sir. Maybe we can check it once again.
No, I'm having the aspect table, no? Do you, Manoj, is this aspect correct?
Yes, Guruji.
Both are on Parashari aspect only.
Same only, no? So it's not that some other settings, right?
No, sir. This is Parashari aspect only, sir.
So Venus, such a graha, which means what? From Dashanath in the house of 12th, house number 12, and ruling 3rd and 8th, is looking at 5th house. What does that mean? Okay. Anybody wants to start saying something about the 5th house when already so many things are happening on the 5th house?
Yes, sir. Like he has severe Putra dosha, and it is repeated even in D9. Having Saturn in 5th house, Puragraha in 5th house.
See, now,
First Lord in 5th house.
Yeah. Now, some of you, I don't know, some student started talking about health, right? And which is when I started talking about Venus, 3rd Lord, 8th Lord, and so on. So in the static potential, we already saw something can go wrong with health. And we also saw something can go wrong with 5th house stuff. If you say health and 5th house, what could you talk about? What point could you refer to in the 5th house matters? Heart. Okay. We'll take it as
Stomach little bit.
Huh?
Stomach problems little bit.
Heart
and stomach.
5th is not. 5th is not stomach actually. Anything else about 5th house?
Liver, Guruji?
Wait, we'll keep that.
I think it's lungs, sir. 5th house is lungs.
Okay, now I think only Kishore knows the answer. Addictions, everything.
Addictions, addictions.
Okay, Kishore?
Yes, Guruji.
Please help.
Okay, Guruji. See, the problem is actually, when we look at the 5th house, the main statement that comes to our mind is Putra Dosha or Progeny, right?
Yeah.
But fifth house also stands for multiple other things like your feeling intelligence, your thinking abilities, your the ability that you brought from your previous life.
Exactly.
So that thinking ability that comes from the fifth house is what we call as empathy, sympathy, logical thinking to a certain extent.
It is
And able
definitely.
to understand this existence in a proper way, like how a human that separates the human being from the animal understanding of the world.
Okay.
So that if the fifth house is impacted, then there seems to be a problem with the way how we perceive reality from that point of view. So that innate intelligence seems to be taking a hit here. So putra dosha is what we normally, because as astrologers, people come to us only for the sake of finding out, when we are going to get a child and all that. But that is the reason why we constantly think on that, progeny. But when we are looking at the fifth house as significations, there are multiple significations.
If this person has come to us a long time before the event, what would be the main parihara, the remedy that we should say? Let's say if it is a Hindu. Huh?
Naga Pratishta, sir.
Naga Pratishta. Do we force Naga Pratishta on everybody who has Rahu in the fifth?
Rahu in fifth, Guruji, and check the further afflictions also.
We have to go for one more level, right? Something
Take care
more.
of orphan child, Guruji.
Huh?
Take care of orphan child.
Okay, but no, Naga Pratishta itself, do we force? Which
Here
means
it is, here
1/12 of the world's population should do Naga Pratishta. Logically, if everybody is got into astrology, assuming that everybody gets into astrology or goes to an astrologer, world's population divided by 12, everybody will be having Rahu in the fifth. But the problem only gets confirmed if there is something further to that. Here it is not an ordinary, it is not an ordinary Rahu. It is an eclipsing Rahu. Do you know that? It's an eclipsing. Okay. And we know who got eclipsed first. It was Moon, the lord of the fifth house of the mind itself. It's a difficult, even if you don't get it right, don't bother. Suppose the same person, another karma, the same horoscope, for somebody else it could have been Putra Dosha also. I'm not saying it is impossible. And we can't guess. It's very difficult. We have to admit. So we don't know what way it is going to work. Therefore, you should tell that please do Naga Pratishta because we don't know. What about, what's going to happen to the fifth house? Something is going to happen to the fifth house. And in this case, we are getting some clues about health, and therefore, common things with health is, I think, some of you got said, when you said heart, it is correct, but it's mostly the mind. And which is
so mental health issues.
Yeah, that's what. So mind is the one which is creating children, love, right? And addictions. Whatever you said, everything is only the mind. The desire to marry, the desire to produce children. Yeah, there are so many people who have the physical part and make sure that they don't produce child. Right? So fifth house is so naturally inclined to children because romance, love leads to children. So if you say spiritual, purva punya, so much of prayer, those who keep on chanting all the time, they're addicted to chanting, you will see that the fifth lord is exalted. If people are chanting continuously, look out. Ask, is your fifth lord exalted? Sometimes they'll chant every place. Wherever they go, they'll keep chanting. But some people will drink all the time. Some people will do this, some people will do that. So we need to find out everything about the fifth house. Keep an open mind and then go back and forth a little bit. You will get some clues. Even if you don't get also, no issues. Okay. But I think somebody hinted, I think some imprisonment, something. I think, isn't it very close, Kishore?
Yes, Guruji. There's another thing I want to, I want to share, because there are some observations that I've been doing. As you rightly said, Rahu in the fifth house, point blank, we cannot say it's a Putra Dosha. As you said, we need to look at other factors also. Now, here, if you look at this, the impact on the chart, if you look at D9 and if you look at, I think, even D7, then we will see that there will be a different story which is happening. In D9, we see Saturn retrograde in the 5th along with Jupiter in the 5th, and the dispositor of the 5th is in the 2nd. So there is what we call as a parivartana between Saturn and Venus. So therefore, the 5th house blemish is not there in D9. If there was a Putra dosha, then it would be repeating in D9, also repeating in D7.
Okay.
That is one factor which I was wanting to share. Only if that thing comes, if the 5th house blemish keeps repeating in most of the Varga chakras, then we make a statement that there seems to be a problem with progeny. Now coming to this chart, so if we come to this chart, we see that there is a blemish on the 5th house, but we will not be able to come to a conclusion based on other charts. So one thing which I would like to say is that there is this retrograde Jupiter and Saturn in the 7th, and then we see there's one important observation. Rahu is afflicting 3 grahas at the same time. Rahu Ketu axis is afflicting 3 grahas at the same time.
Okay.
And this affliction is not a normal affliction because it is impacting not only the 3 grahas, also impacting moon and sun, which are known as the Atma Karaka and the Manakaraka. So there seems to be something which we need to take from this particular damage that is being caused.
If you want to put it in ordinary, less complicated way, layman's angle, the eclipsing happens on the 511 axis of the mind. And on top of that, there is a Krishna Paksha Chaturdasi. And then we also have some health problem possible. And then the person is going through a Venus Antardasha. So what happened in Venus Antardasha, Kishorji?
Guruji, we have to go through the Mahadasha, right? The placement of Mahadasha, Lord running Dasha from the 12th house, which itself is a big, careful Dasha to be observed. And then we look at the Venus Antardasha, Venus being afflicted, and not only Venus, but also all the grahas being afflicted. Then we go into the other level of thing, that is Mercury.
From D9, Mars has anything to do with this? Mars Dasha, any clue? For let's say if something to do with to the health, Mars has got anything to do with health from D9?
Aspecting Saturn, Jupiter.
No. Anyone else wants to try?
Sir, Mars is also 64th Navamsha.
64th Navamsha Lord, correct. So whenever we are talking about some danger or injury or whatever, we have to keep an eye on 64th Navamsha Lord. And what is the other one? 22nd Drekana. Okay? 22nd Drekana. So we'll keep this up on the top and then go to the next level. What is the Pratyantar?
Mercury, Guruji.
Mercury. Now I'll flip to Drekana. From Drekana, do you see any Mercury connection to the health problem?
You mean placement of Mercury in the 4th house?
No.
There's 22nd Drekana.
Becoming the 8th Lord, sir.
No, it becomes the 22nd Drekana Lord. 22.
Yes, sir.
22nd Drekana Lord. Please never undermine this 64th Navamsa Lord and 22nd Drekana Lord. They're very powerful, what they call causing danger. Of course, as we all know, that it's always stack up only, but Mercury did play a role here. But the Mercury Pratyantar also has some other connection with the basic static chart itself, right? The static potential of the chart. I think you finished it. In the beginning itself, you said something about Mercury. Mercury Saturn Parivartana, but it is 12 and 7. 7th Lord's Pratyantar. What Parihara you should do? Ayush, Mahamrityunjaya. In this case, it is usually, Parashar always hints if 7th means, it is Vishnu Sahasranam. Now the problem is, if you are a Hindu, you get to do all these things. Otherwise, you'll have to only start modifying it in the best way possible. But you can always say Mercury is bad.
Guruji, can we say that the Mahadasha Lord is the Maraka because he's the 2nd, and then the Bhukti Lord is the Ashtamadhipati, the 8th Lord, and then
Pratyantar is the 7th
Pratyantar is the Maraka Lord once again,
yes.
Placed, and both these are placed in the 12th. So there seems to be some warning sign for...
Now, here we are all used to the Bhava chart, right? But I want to tell you, how did is there something that we have to finish off first with the Rashi chart? How do we do that? Is without counting the you go into the Bhava chart, we have to admit that Mercury and Mars is connected to Saturn. That is the big confusion that we have about Bhava chart. Okay, but when you read any book, whichever like Bhrigu Sutram or something, you want to know the effects. There you always use the Bhava chart. Otherwise, you say Mercury is in the sign of Saturn. Who is it? He is 12th Lord. Mars is in the sign of Saturn. Who is that? 12th Lord. So there is a 12th house connection to it. Okay. So wherever the conjunction happens, the Parivartana, already Saturn is afflicting Lagna Lord, and then Parivartana, Mercury gets connected to it, and therefore Mercury Pratyantar became very strong. So what really happened on that date?
On that day, he met with a fatal accident, and he was rendered inactive. So he couldn't speak, he couldn't move about, and he had a lot of suffering to undergo. And there was no hope for him to recover as per the doctor's statement. So he became blind and mute because of this. This blindness and muteness was what I was doing research when I stumbled upon this native's date and time. And then I came to know, because of the accident, it was like not by birth, but through an event, that he became deaf and, dumb and blind and mute, sorry.
That means main injury is to head.
Yes.
Jupiter,
yes.
Yeah.
Second, third, and fourth. These are the grahas which have taken the houses, rather. Second, third, and fourth houses are the ones that have taken the beating. And then Mercury also the Karaka for speech, intelligence. I think nervous system also, Guruji.
Kishorji, is there any affliction towards marriage life, and does he have a child?
No. See, he was born in 1981, and this accident happened in the year 2000, which is like when he's 19 years old.
He is not married.
No.
So he's not married yet.
Absolutely, not at all married.
Okay, good.
No, so Kishorji, the reason why I told about the accident earlier, severe accident, because in my chart also, with my example only I told, in 12th house I have Mars, and it was running with a Marana Karkasthana for me. And the same conjunction, same time I had a very severe major accident, but I recovered from that because I was near death already, almost.
You mean to say you were born in 81?
No, 78. But my Mars is in 12th house, and it was when the accident happened, it was when Marana Karkasthana, that second house Lord is running, right? Same thing, my second Lord is the Mars, which is a Marana Karkasthana on the 12th house. And the combinations with that, you said Venus and Mars, so it was a similar same thing. For me also Venus was running, and also Saturn was running along with that. So it was a little bit coincidence with this chart. So that's why I told there could be a major severe accident during that time. And I luckily I got recovered. But as per this one, you said it's just not able. He's suffering still, I believe.
No, the problem with, of course, that is one reason. And another thing is that when we talked about the fourth house, we tend to think of mother and, house. Usually that is the consultation that we get most of the time. But here in this case, even fourth house also stands for vehicles, right? And Mars is also a karaka for vehicles. So Mercury, Mars, both in the 12th. We can take that as something to keep in mind, actually.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Guruji, I'm not sure if this can be qualified as a proper Bandhan Yoga, Guruji. Because Jupiter's aspect on the Lagna.
No, it's very difficult because Saturn is actually called the hospital planet. It's called the imprisonment planet. Especially coma-like situation. Saturn makes us physically challenged, mentally challenged. So it won't be so exact, but we will know. You see, it doesn't matter for a person. It is all the same, right? The feelings are the same. When you are in coma, when you are like this, or it's all almost helplessness. Helplessness is the key word there.
This morning, coincidentally, I was looking at your video, Guruji, about Bandhan Yoga, and there was a mention of the affliction to the second house.
Okay.
I didn't see, or probably the second lord is afflicted. Okay.
Text, what is, I'm having the text. BPHS volume 2 says sorrow, physical distress, loss of wealth, danger, distress to wife and children and so on. But what is relevant here is only the sorrow part and the physical distress part. Okay. So that way, when you read the Dasha and Antardasha, we get so little clues because it's so complex. That's why so we can't actually, say everything. But from that, we will have to come back and then say. Generally, if you say in advance, in this period, you have to be careful or whatever in how you're going to use it. This knowledge, depending upon remedies, prayer, charity, goodness, godliness, and all that, can be across every religion. But you'll have to warn the person that I don't know if you could have warned just because of Mars Dasha, right? That was somewhat, I think, let's admit it could not have been easy, except if you say Mars is in the 12th sign, except that. The Bhavachart, it is not in the, it is in the 11th house. Okay, and then it happened to be the 64th Navamsa Lord. We got little clues. But I would have approached this by saying there are a lot of sins committed in the past life, connecting to this eclipse and KPC fault and so on. Ask the person to do more prayers and all that. If possible, convince them to do Naga Pratishtha and so on, and hope for the best. Right?
So 5th house is afflicted, 5th lord is afflicted, 9th house is afflicted, 9th lord is afflicted, and the Lagna lord is also afflicted. Lagna is also getting afflicted, Guruji.
Yeah.
I mean, the afflictions are coming from all angles. The reason is because of these conjunctions in 11th and 12th and 7th.
Exactly.
The critical houses.
Sir, here I have a doubt, sir. Whether Ketu is giving some problem to Mars because it is whether it is near to Mars or not, Ketu.
No, there's a good amount of gap. A good amount of gap is there.
15 degrees gap is there, sir. 15
See,
or
there
16
is
gap.
one way you can connect Mars to the problem. Is that Bhrigu Sutra, we always say, gives a lot of importance to dispositor. Right? So we already estimated Saturn as a problem causer. So Mars dispositor is Saturn. Okay, that way we can connect. But if you want to add from another point of view, Mars, I think somebody mentioned that, right? Mars is, Kishore said first, Mars is second lord, therefore is qualified, okay, to do some danger. But
and it is combusted, can we say, sir?
I think, yeah, Velmurugan's point also, we can take it into account, combust. But Mars definitely afflicts the Lagna lord. And there is a conflict with Saturn, right? So there is a connection with Saturn. And this maybe we can't easily guess what the person might have done to get this fate.
Guruji, one more observation. Guruji.
Yeah.
Can you please go to the aspect table where it shows aspects on houses?
Okay.
Now, one of the statements being mentioned by the rishis is that the 6th house is the house of Runurog Ripu, right?
Correct.
So the 6th house is also the house for accidents, one of the problems caused by accidents.
Okay.
You look at the
100%.
aspects on the 6th house. No,
Yeah.
that entire row is getting a lot of aspects from malefics. Mars is aspecting 100, Mercury is 88. Mercury being with Mars, it becomes a malefic. And then Ketu is 78. And then Sun itself is a malefic, so 90, 73 there. So whenever we look at these afflictions, too many afflictions on the houses, then the signal is loud and clear.
I think we missed this point that Mars is aspecting 100 on
the 6th house.
Accident house. Yeah, we missed that.
Guruji, when you see this, Guruji, in your client's charts, does it actually trigger an alarm? Like, you need to make a statement to be cautious to the client?
Very difficult, very difficult. We'll have to only generalize it.
Okay.
Because at that time, our mind won't work unless there is enough time and the mentality of the person. There are many people who get switched off. Today morning, I had a consultation. The moment I said 2-3 negative points, the face started changing. They started becoming restless and so on. So there is a problem in consultation. Okay, it's not easy.
We are also humans, right? Guruji?
Yeah, whereas when we are doing research like this, we have no feelings.
That's right.
We talk in any different, whatever way you want to say, you can. But in real life, it's so difficult. Nobody's going to understand. And it's, it makes it very difficult. And our mind won't go there. Usually, the recommendation to visit an astrologer is all throughout the ages. Go to an astrologer only with one question. You know that? Only one question. Don't keep asking another question. Because if you ask only one question, like how did we spend only on this, just the Dasha and Antardasha, we started and it took us so much time to figure out what's happening. Whereas if we ask multiple questions, I know of people, today I was reading, maybe once upon a time a VIP of Tamil Nadu, the entire family. Even before I can see the chart, they'd ask the question about another chart. Okay? Then when I open that, they're saying, what about that brother's one daughter was born? Is that affecting this person? No, we didn't prepare the horoscope. No. Can you get it printed? So somebody goes out, somebody's called, printed, again this chart, that chart. I ended up looking at 9 charts within 2 hours. If you say, so why don't you ask just one question? These are all not practical. Okay, but if you take a normal course of reading this chart, it is very easy to say something. There's so much bad luck in this chart that we can say, right? You get an overall feeling that there is, but what do you do with this? That's a different point. How much can you warn the person? Are you going to say, oh, you're going to through Mars, so whenever I see Mars is the lord of the 2nd or 7th, I tell them to become vegetarians. Stop non-veg. Mars is the injury, blood. I think somebody asked, can we say blood donation for remedy? Yes, I would have said that. Also, while talking to the client, you can get a lot of clues. I'll ask, are you vegetarian or non-vegetarian? But not everybody opens up. There are people who say, I eat only non-veg. Okay, in such case, if Mars turns negative, it can be really bad. Okay, so it all depends on to whom are you talking to, what type. So that's the reason why it's so complicated. But I always felt the Antardasha is a key to understanding a lot of things. So suppose you had come just before Venus Antardasha, you can warn a little bit. What do you do? Now we'll ask a question. Suppose you warn and the event doesn't happen. Does that falsify astrology?
No, sir. No.
It kind of.
Not.
No, it kind of.
How?
It's not happening, right? The person will say, it was meant to happen, it never happened. Nothing happened. So that's also a problem.
We say only tendency, right, sir? It's not 100%.
That's what. But when the event happens, like this we know, yes, it's so evident. But if we want to do more research on this Jupiter-Saturn conjunction, in that 1981, so many strange things. The same planet, for some people, happen to be 5th lord. No children, adopted children. Sometimes the same thing got involved with marriage. In this case, it is also connecting to the marriage, right? It is happening in the 7th house. So whatever you said can still happen. But what happened to this person, Kishore?
So he met with a cycle accident, Guruji, while he was, he's a cyclist actually.
Oh my God.
So, and on that day, particular day, Saturn, Jupiter were again conjunct in Rishabha.
Oh, Saturn, Jupiter?
Conjunct in Rishabha,
Rishabha.
as per the Gochara chart.
Okay.
And Rahu was in the fourth, was traveling over the fourth, transiting over the fourth rather.
Oh. Oh, those are interesting points.
I was
Sir,
also
it
looking
is
because
30
the
years.
date was there, since the exact date was mentioned.
Oh. What is the
This
nakshatra on the
conjunction
day?
happens only.
The nakshatra on the date where the moon was? Moon nakshatra.
Oh, moon seems to be in Gandanta. 1 second, Guruji.
No, just tell me the nakshatra.
Could be Shravana.
Oh, that's a very wild guess, maybe intelligent guess. One of you can use Jagannath Hora and enter 24th September 19. What is the year? 19? 2000. Kishore,
Do you want the nakshatra name or the nakshatra lord, Guruji?
Just the nakshatra. What degree it is? Moon is in what degree?
27 degrees.
Somebody says Aslesha.
Yes, Guruji.
It is on the border. Aslesha fourth pada.
27 degrees is
27. You're saying 27 degrees. Okay, 27 is what? 2640? The last part. Okay, so it is
Ilium, right?
Yeah. Ilium fourth pada, Aslesha. Mercury again.
Aslesha is once again a notorious nakshatra, isn't it, Guruji?
Correct. And that is where the Rahu Ketu eclipse was. A coma-like situation, helplessness like this is also like an eclipse, right? They say he was eclipsed by 29 degrees is even worse. Aslesha 29. 29 to 1. Aslesha has this snake energies. That's why he's saying that. But in this case, it is 7th Lord. Right? 7th Lord and Pratyanta.
Yeah, transit Saturn is afflicting the 5th house also.
Okay.
Transit Saturn from Rishabha is afflicting the 5th house of the natal. And the 12th house.
Sridevi asks, Aslesha is notorious for what? Anybody wants to help? What is special about that last part?
Serpent and Gandanta.
Correct. It is Sarpadrekana. Right? Sarpadrekanas are more connected to Rahu problems. What is the day of the accident?
Weekday. 24th.
24th September.
Weekday, 24th September, we'll have to go there.
Yeah. If you have a chart separately in Jagannath Hora, Sunday. It was a Sunday.
6th Lord's Day. Sun is the 6th Lord.
Day. Okay.
Here, more than Sun, we should give weightage to Rahu, right, Guruji? Because Rahu is the one who's also engulfing Sun there.
Correct.
There's another event that we have not seen, Guruji. The 2003 event.
What is that?
I will reveal it yet, Guruji. You told me not to. You told me to give it.
What is that second event? Event 2, right?
Event 2, yes, Guruji.
Rahu, Venus. I think this is going to be tough. I give up.
Very tough, Guruji.
I think you can cut the suspense, Kishore.
Okay, that was the day. Anybody wants to give a try?
Maybe medicine complication?
It's 12th house lord, right? 12th house co-lord for him. Rahu. Very powerful. 12th house effects.
No, the clue is in the Pratyantar actually.
Okay.
And
again, Venus.
No, it's Rahu. Kishore, what is that? Rahu?
Venus.
2004, no, 2003. Okay.
This is where we need to look at the dignity of Rahu and the dignity of the dispositor of Rahu. When the dispositor of Rahu we see, he is badly afflicted. He is not only with the sun, he is also with Ketu. I mean, in the Rahu-Ketu axis.
Rahu.
Maybe we can have the transit chart at that time, then we can guess a little more.
Okay, I'll pull up the transit chart. It's 2003, no problem. I'll convert from 2000 to 2003.
You want me to stop sharing and you want to share your screen?
Okay, Guruji.
It's a particular date, Kishorji, that the Rahu, it's in September 2003?
Yes. The date is 24.
24 September. Okay.
Sorry, 26th September. Let me change that also.
26th September
2003.
Okay.
I need to share the screen, right?
Yes. I've given permission.
Where is this share screen? Okay. So initially, it will be confusing. Let me explain this. This is the inner is the D1 and the outer is the transit chart.
So outside is the transit chart, which is
yes. Let me make it bigger. Is that okay?
So how come the Lagna is with Rahu? Because in my software it's showing the Lagna is in Scorpio.
Did you put this date? 26/9/2003. Maybe the timing is wrong for you.
Okay,
the timing will make a difference. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll ignore the Lagna. We'll just look at the placement of the grahas with respect to the natal chart. The transit Lagna can be ignored, right, Guruji?
What?
The transit Lagna can be ignored. We just need to see the placement of the transit chart.
It doesn't make sense because it's not about time. It's only about planets versus their angles with others.
So if I put Kishorji at 26th of September, which is on Friday, 2003, The Rahu sits in 8th house for me. And
8th house
Venus
from the natal chart.
from
the
Lagna.
natal Lagna. Okay, natal Lagna. Okay.
Yeah. And Ketu is in 12, obviously. And the Venus is in Lagna itself. And the 12th house has the Jupiter and Mercury.
Oh, I think you put AM and PM. That's the reason why you're getting no. Even that won't be there.
Oh, okay. So what is the time then?
I put it as 2059.
2059? Okay.
Yeah, that won't matter much. The placement will not vary so much. Please
Yeah,
ignore the Lagna of that transit chart. And also
Alright.
check the year if it is 2003 or 2023.
It's a 2003, September 26.
Okay.
So now if I change the timings, it varies a little bit. Rahu will become the 12th house.
In the natal chart, Rahu for me is on the second house, transiting over the second house. Mars is transiting over Mars, right?
Okay. Yeah, that's correct.
Saturn is transiting over the fourth house.
Let me. Okay. Oh, Rahu itself a Badakesh during the time.
You mean Marrakesh?
Yeah, Badakesh, Rahu, and as well as Saturn, both of them. Yeah. I don't know. Sorry, Kishori, you have to break it.
Yeah, the Mars over Mars is the big, I would say, to be careful about.
Yeah.
And if you look at Jupiter, Jupiter is transiting over the sixth house along with Mercury.
True. The person is no more.
On that day, he left the world.
Yeah,
actually, he was.
But most of you got indirect answers to what happened, right? Finally, Kishore will continue. Let him continue.
The problem is actually since he was paralyzed and incapacitated to do any work, he himself or his family members wanted to have a mercy killing of this native because he was in immense pain because of that. And the government, euthanasia. So the government in France, euthanasia is banned. And though they appealed to the president did not accept it. And finally, in 2003, at the behest of the mother, the hospital doctors, they had to perform euthanasia on the native. That was on this day, the 26th of September 2003. So yeah, and and since the event was man-made, we could say it was not an. I don't know if we could qualify this as a natural death. Death is death, right? But sometimes there's something called as akal mrityu, right, Guruji?
Yeah.
Akal mrityu is very difficult to. Normal mrityu itself is difficult to predict. Akal mrityu is even more difficult to predict.
But
and the person knows that he is dying, right?
No, but whatever it is a complete KYC eclipse Rahu problem. That is why Rahu. Right?
Yes.
It's only from that we know. So whatever happened is some sin committed in connection with Rahu in the past life in India. We always think it is snake. It is snake-like activities done in the past life. So please read my article, Why Only Sarpa Dosha, Why Not Lion, Elephant, Tiger Dosha. I wrote it long time back, many years back. So I always don't like the idea of comparing this with the snake. These are bad things that we do for which we were searching for a symbol and we associated with snake. It's not snake. It is not Rakshasa. It is all the snake-like, demon-like things that are in our mind. Okay. So when you're asking for take away my life, this is usually, see, he can't even do it himself. He has to, he's helpless. So it's such a high level of struggle, right? So I think, how can he request when he is himself physically challenged? How did he do that requisition? Please.
Probably there was some way of communicating, Guruji. So
it was so difficult, and
yes.
By using some ideas like telegraphic code, like some squeezing and this and that, he managed to send signals to the person who wrote it down as, please take away my life. Okay, that's how he managed. And you know what happened is, the mother herself injected the poison.
Mercury in the 12th.
Yeah, it injected the poison into the drips that was going on. Okay, she just, but I think I don't know whether later she was arrested for murder, but I think it was some I don't know what happened after that.
No, they were acquitted. They were not acquitted. I mean, they were not penalized. Punished. In the year 2006, the court dismissed the case because even the native was no more. What is the point? And they found some element of comfort for the native also.
Okay.
So this and you said about poison, Guruji. Suddenly, I was looking at the transit Rahu over the second. Natal Rahu in the 5th, transit Rahu on the second bhava.
So such a sad event. The article claims that it was a car accident, Kishorji.
Oh yeah, okay. But he was a cyclist, right, Guruji?
I don't know, but maybe he was. It says since the car crash in which he lost the use of his 4 limbs, his speech, his sight, and sense of smell and taste.
Yes.
A former fireman, okay, something to do with Mars only, did not want to live. Okay, and so on. You can read it. For those of you who want to know the name, Vincent Humbert, right?
And also this when you spoke about hands and legs, then we need to look at the 1, 4, 7, 10 of the chart. All of them are afflicted.
Yeah. It's quite bad. A situation like this, you can't. You're wishing for your own death is something very high amount of sin committed in the past. Maybe torturing, keeping people helpless. You see so many of the serial killers and so on. But anyway, we don't know what the soul did. It's not for us to find out what it did. But wherever it is, let it find a good existence in the future.
So before we end the session, there is a small recap that I'd like to have. And the accident part can be derived from the Dasha and Antardasha, if I'm not mistaken, Guruji.
Yes.
And
6th house. 6th house of accident.
Okay.
But the Rashi Parivartana involved in 12 and 4. You see, the problem with Parivartana is we focus only on 7 and 12, right? But actually it is not correct. You have to take both of them. You have to take 4th factor and 7th factor, and even 11th factor and 12th factor, and crisscross it. There's something off the 4th lord also. So the mistake that we might do is we simply use the Bhava chart. If you use a Bhava chart, you read, okay, Mercury is where? You can go back to the other chart, right? Do you have Bhava chart?
Yes,
Baba
Guruji,
chart.
here it is. Here
Yeah.
it is.
Mercury alone hangs on, I think at the last minute, hanging on to 12th. Only Mars shifts out. So it's unfortunate that the mother was, was made to do this. Right?
Once again, a striking thing is this about the fourth, 14710, Guruji. That is one thing. And another thing, Rahu in the fifth with an eclipse and afflicting the sun, moon, and Mercury.
Correct.
So these are the points that I think, I missed this Rahu part in transit and in this thing that you mentioned.
Yeah. Everything, even that Sarpadrekana, death by poison, death by snake, that is added to Rahu's problem here. Okay, that's why. Anyway, it was a wonderful session. It's time for us to leave. But before leaving, let's take responsibility. We have to, these are all just proving the point again and again that we need to make sure we don't increase our burden. Let's not commit extra, more sins. We came only to lessen the sins that was done. So how can we add to it? It's foolish to add, right? We came here, it's like saying we want more good things. We want to cancel out all the bad things. So why would you want to, don't fight, don't give trouble to others, take, lead a good life, donate, pray, all these, what we call the sattvic things. Let's try to do as much as possible. Okay. But it's very difficult also, I know. For example, I was so confused with one orphanage. They were continuously troubling me. I don't know whether they're taking us for a ride or what is that they're doing. So whether to give or not to give, so much of doubt. So I think VK Varman, we have planned to go and see that orphanage. Why are they asking so many times? Is there nobody else to help them? Is it real trouble? So Saturday we are going and seeing them. So doing parihara is not easy. Always people will. I want to say a very interesting thing about parihara, this Naga Pratishta, punishment. Rahu in the fifth. Okay, Rajadanda, punishment. Maybe one, did I tell about this lady who refuses to do Naga Pratishta? Have I said that?
No, sir.
Okay. See, she believes in astrology, but this is the most important thing. She's got so much of money, but none of the money can be used by her because the matter is in court. Okay? And she can't leave the country. If she goes out, she'll be a queen in another country. So much of property there, but she's not allowed to go. So after seeing that Rahu is in Leo, I said so much of government problem because Rahu is in the sign of sun, government. Already Brigu has said that. But when I tell her, convince her with all these things, she says, you ask me to do anything except Naga Pratishta. How do you explain that? Now we are seeing a chart where we are saying, we wish we could have told this person so that we prevent the accident or something. I don't think in the chart that we saw now, this is just a post-mortem analysis. There's no way anybody could have saved him. That means he will not consider an astrologer. He will never come to know about his fate. Nothing. It is so strong because the way the event happened. Okay. So there is no way. It's just a hypothetical question. What if? What if? But this lady, so much inclined to God belief and everything, only this I will not do. Why would that person say that? Why would that person say that? Just think about it.
Resistance to
reduce the there is something.
Karma
there is
load.
something. Yeah, there is something to it. And if I start thinking about it, I seem to get some ideas about why she is refusing to do. Because if she does it, she'll get a release. Whereas she's spending lakhs and lakhs. I think she must have crossed several crores, being cheated here and there by people who say, give me the money, I'll get you the release. I'll talk to this person, that person, all kinds of things. She's gone through many things. Whereas Naga Pradishta, maximum, if Kanchipuram we do it, will be somewhere, if you like how Manoj does it, with a complete structure and all that, maximum 1.5 lakhs or something very close to that. So there's a range. So it's actually peanuts, but she refuses. So I know from the bottom of her heart that she's going to die without going out of country. Okay. Now this is also another way, a quick shortcut for all of you. If you see somebody having putra dosha, and if you tell them orphanage remedy, and they tell you there is no need to do any of these things, you can be sure that there could be the result of that. Okay. So by talking to the person, also you can come to know a lot of things. Atheist, like Ketu endings. If an atheist goes through the last part of Ketu, where Ketu is in 8 or 12, most probably it is death. I've seen that so many times. I think some of the stories I already told you, where I tried my best to convince the person, I failed. Meaning I failed means the person.
That part, Guruji? Ketu in the 8th.
Ketu ending. If an atheist goes through a Ketu ending with Ketu in 8 and 12, take it from me, 100% death. It will be.
You mean in the 8th house or 12th house?
Yeah, 8th house or 12th house, but he should be an atheist. Only then. So, how is it so perfectly happening? And why are they refusing to believe? What is wrong in believing? Sometimes I used to say, even if God doesn't exist, no problem. You simply say, act as though he's there. Voltaire, an author, wrote, even if God does not exist, we will create one. You know why? So much of changes happen when you start believing in God. This Atma, so much of poison in his life from the past. So the final thing was, give me the poison. What I gave to others. Okay? So let's be very kind and compassionate to everybody. Live and let live. All that. Right? So with these words, we'll end this today's discussion.
Sir, can I ask one small question?
Yeah.
Sir, I feel like a little bit bad for the native whose chart we saw.
Okay.
Just one question I'm thinking, with all these difficulties that he went through and, finally he ended, does that mean his karmas to some extent got voided and he got punished, and then at least the next birth he will be
you're right. You're right. Yeah, as we go through the punishment, the sin portion also comes down. You're right. But look at it like this. On the date of accident, if he had passed away, all the torture of the 3 years could not have been there, right?
Yeah.
So something very bad was done in the past, because quick death is usually a gift. But suffering death like this and then waiting, you just have to be in a place, just act as though you are inside a room and you can't come out. Just say for 1 day and see. Then 2 days you try. Horrible it will be. Okay? And try to be bedridden. Just act. Just don't get up from the bed. Only then we will know. So like this human suffering, we can know by just experiencing these things. How to know the power of hunger? Go on fast. Then you will know. When you start shivering, this is how hunger will be. This is how pain will be for others. So I used to take a small pin and, I used to prick and see how much of pain is there in it. Okay? So much pain. Do we have to give pain to others? Insult others? Test it out. Let somebody insult you a small, little. It hurts so much. There are some people who want to insult and they want to make sure the other person listens. It's called Rahu effect. Let him listen. Let him know. Tell it loud. All this is bad. Then we can't talk. Okay.
So like I didn't understand the last point, sir. Loud talk. How can it be torture, sir? Maybe I didn't.
No,
I
you
didn't
want to give suffering to people, and you want to be loud about it. You want to insult people. Maybe you can insult somebody so that he never even listens to you, or able to hear what you're saying. But there are people who make sure that they listen.
Oh.
They'll tell it loud. In which case, in a future birth, you will be muted. You won't be able to talk. God will say, only if I give you the power to talk, you will punish people like this, is it? Isn't it? So I'll make sure you don't talk. I won't give you the power to say anything. So it all works like that. Okay.
Okay, sir. Yeah.
So ultimately, what do we do with this astrology is not about prediction or anything. It is about understanding human life. And if everybody knows that, everybody will become responsible, kinder, and make sure there is more and more happiness in this world. Otherwise, this will be forever. Today, the man who came to me, I said, all this problem is because you sold liquor at this level in millions and millions of rupees. Okay. Now we are going through the punishment part. Thank God it started now itself. Otherwise, it will get carried for the next birth where you won't even know what's happening. Okay. So he said, what's wrong? It's selling liquor. Okay. So intoxication, poison, all these things are Rahut stuff. Okay. Disobedience, breaking the rules, all this Rahut. But this is a very sad state where he's asking the mother who gave the birth to that sad, situation. She herself has to do it. Oh my God.
And we could have seen the chart with respect to Sun, Moon as the main as Lagna, sir, degree, because they are in both in same house.
Yeah, so that sign also becomes strong. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
if you put Sun Moon as the Lagna, then the Lagna Lord is in Mrityu Bhaga actually.
Oh.
Saturn is in Mrityu Bhaga.
Oh.
So that itself is another indication of.
No, if you start with all this, you can get more and more details. But finally, what is it? Finally, you'll have to break it down to simple facts. It's only
even
proving.
This time also the Lagna Lord is in fight, sir.
Yeah.
It is not going somewhere. No.
Yeah. So the takeaway today is just we are proving astrology one more time. We're just proving horoscope, everything. But beyond that, we are actually proving karma. Okay. I have started imagining my next life for a long time, for 10-15 years. Okay. I'm not worried about it, but I'm very conscious of it.
One must believe that by looking at so many thousands of charts, that you would have gained that intuition, Guruji. Like, for example, when I see a chess position, I will know that, okay, this is
exactly
going to be checkmate.
You know from how this could have come.
Yes.
Right? And if you go from there, you can project and then you can say it is heading towards this direction. Like that you can.
So in that way, I think you are able to do that prediction.
Yeah.
Even in this chart also, Guruji, right from the beginning, people were guessing something is wrong with, somebody came close to that, the affliction to the life and all those things. Because this Jupiter and Saturn was retrograde.
No, yeah, that's what I was wondering. Somebody said something about mother. I think Manoj said starting.
Manoj said it, yes. He got the fourth house affliction, but he got into the different signification.
But the mother is the one who kills him. I mean.
Oh, yeah.
Though it was a request, okay, that's another point. But ultimately, that person is chosen, right?
And if you look at it in a
Hey, 1 minute. Sridevi is typing something. This is Sridevi. I would like you to enlighten all our students by giving an example. After we did Naga Pratishtha and lots of other charities related to kids, I found that my daughter's the daughter's hole in the heart is now closed. Defect was closed until we have. Okay, very nice. So there are so many things. Please don't say it. What is that? Did I make a mistake? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know it was a private message. Oh my God.
That's okay, Guruji. That's okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. This is one. Okay, so now that I told about it, one more thing
Sir,
happened. A similar thing happened to my fellow Rotarian. He belongs to another Rotary club, not my club. His daughter had the same problem, and after the Naga Pradishta, the same thing happened there also. Okay, and Manoj himself has a lot of direct experiences with temples, gods, parihara, and everything. So he might maybe do a separate session just to tell about his experiences. So shocking experiences. Or
Yes, sir. Like I have seen like really magic after doing the all the charities and all.
I know basically Saturn in my horoscope is trouble. I know that, but because I'm doing relevant remedies for a long time and I'm spreading the word of karma, things have got better. But when I recall the good old days when I was an atheist and I was so much against astrology and no discipline and so on, I knew it was hell. So in one lifetime, I saw both sides. Okay, so I'm very sure about remedies and everything else. Even gemstones are real, numerology is real, Vastu is real, everything is real. But how do we master it is another point. Okay, how do we use it? What to expect of it? If you take the right kind of food, are we disease free? No, we still have problems. But does that mean you don't have to consider good food? Right?
It will make worse, sir. When
Yeah, it'll be
situation is
worse.
already
It'll be worse. So people say, I've been wearing this gem, still I'm in trouble. I say, there will be trouble in their life anyway. At least this is better. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah. And with respect to moon, sir, the Rahu Ketu is on 2-8 axis, sir. For this,
With
for the
respect to
native.
moon, with respect
Yes,
to
sir.
moon, Rahu is in?
Rahu is in 8th, sir.
Oh, if you do a Bhava chart based on moon.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And the second house is really with 4th planet, second house for the native with
Okay. Very nice. Very nice. If anybody wants to do one more presentation on the same chart, you just let me know with a proper presentation about all the noted points, summary, everything. We can do it again. And that actress chart Kishore did, I've just edited it just now. I'll be uploading it. It's very interesting. In case anybody wants to do a summary of it, 10-15 minutes, we can do it. What is the actress
This
name?
is Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe, sir.
Marilyn Monroe. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
We can do that. Maybe you miss out of some points. We want to do it one more time. We can do it. All short we can do. Okay.
Okay, sir. Yeah.
So one thing. I have always shared many personal things with my clients, just to enthuse them into prayer and charity and all this. Whatever we say as corrections, karma can be corrected. Okay, so please spread the same message to everybody. The goodness. I love Jesus Christ statement. Repent, the kingdom of God is at hand. Okay, there's so many nice things he said, but they're all.
Means, sir. It means repent.
You have to repent. Okay.
In our religion, Guruji, in Jainism, repent happens in both the times when the day and night is shifting. We need to do that prayer for asking forgiveness. And now, when we go deep into astrology, I now understand the impact of what is happening in with the advice of the rishis. So
exactly,
whenever we do this cleansing in the morning and in the evening, knowingly, unknowingly, we have hurt so many people or animals or living beings, and we ask for forgiveness, then that itself is actually like, clearing away. It's like a big remedy that was suggested.
Exactly.
And we are doing it without knowing it's a remedy. We are doing it for purifying the soul.
Exactly.
So the next birth should be not towards either the Devlok or the Naraklok, but to attain enlightenment.
Exactly.
To come free out of this matrix of Maya.
Yes, very good. So we will end the discussion here. Thank you, Manoj, Kishore, lot of contributors, Ramesh, everybody, right?
One request I want to make in front of you, Guruji, to everyone. I would suggest everyone come up with points and be vocal about it, or be instead of being just a mute passive spectator. At least either you can type or you can speak. That way we have to fine tune this art of prediction or analysis, Guruji.
No, I won't compel, because each of us are different types. Some of us want to talk, some of us want to listen, some of us want to ponder over it. So we are all different in several ways because of our planets. Okay, when we communicate so much, maybe our Mercury is all very strong. Others who are not having certain features in their chart, they may tend to just listen and learn. Anyway, it will be there. The learning part will be there, but we'll wait. We'll not compel everybody, but as you said, it is ideal that people just start practicing by saying many things, and slowly they will gain confidence. But it's not compulsory, I would say that. It's all about learning, right? So you don't have to be so vocal about it, but it's always better in a class like this, because we have got a lot of opportunities for interactions. If you now go through all the chat, whatever you people mentioned, students mentioned, those things can be now looked upon from a different point of view. Maybe this was something to do with past life is also being discussed. So whenever you say fourth lord in the 12th, loss through mother, loss of life through mother, going away because of mother, going away from mother, so many things. So now in hindsight, since we know everything, we can again go back to the chat and see, it's not about how many of you got it right. It is about how well we can use these statements and modify it again. And this is how we should have done the hunting, the clue hunting. So the next time it will become even better. Okay. And I want to tell you, the 7th house is road. Please remember that. The 7th house is the road. Okay. So the conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn is happening on the road, 7th house.
Sir, I don't know in which classical text I took, but the conjunction or the relationship between Saturn and Jupiter is called as Brahmahati dosha, sir.
That's what, Manoj, it was in Parashari text, that Mesha Lagna, I'll quote the exact line. Normally, 9th and 10th Lord conjunction is a Raja Yoga. Correct?
Yes.
That's a typical Raja Yoga. But Maharishi says, no, it won't. Because it's simply because Jupiter and Saturn is like that. Otherwise, Jupiter is 9th Lord and 10th Lord Saturn. If they conjunct, it should be good. But he says no. So these are times we should learn. I think he also used similar logic for Guru and Shukra in another place. What was that Lagna? One more Lagna he used. So these are things that we should never forget. A Guru Shukra conjunction, a Shani Guru conjunction. These are always to be watched. And I'm very sure that 81 was bad time. A lot of things happened just because of that. And since you never answered that question, what is special about that corner, Kanya? I'll tell you, that is the most barren sign of all. The most barren. Okay. Others added by saying it is the 6th in the Kala Purusha. Out of typical 4 barren sign, Mesha, Mithuna, Kanya, Simha and Kanya. The most barren is Kanya. That is why Mars in Kanya is extremely bad. Okay. So each time when the conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn happens, it won't be in the same place. It will be in different places. So you got to give a lot of hint to that. Okay, we'll end now. Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji.
Special thanks to Kishore ji for giving us the data. Okay.
Anytime, Guruji.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji. Good night.
Good night. Good night. Velmurugan ji, உங்ககிட்ட நான் பேசணும். மறந்தே போயிட்டேன்.
Okay, Guruji.
Okay.